Yo, I might have sound issues.
Yo,
Yo. We'll see if this is happening. I don't know. I assume so. If not, we'll find out. There we go. Oh, the speech bubble's working. Praise God. Praise the Lord for this wonderful technology that is provided for these times. And may we have the discernment and insight to fucking see through the fucking schemes laid against us, meant to hit us in the fucking invisible fashions that life often delivers to those who are unaware and unawake. Like, let's get through this fucking shit in Jesus Christ's name and Yeshua HaMashiach's name, in the Most High God's name, the creator of all that is. Watch over us, please. Good God. Fucking live, dude. What's up, dude? We got endeavor to persevere. Blessings, brother, man. Good to have you here, man. Good to have endeavor to persevere as well. Like, classic, like one of my first subscribers out here. So today we were going to discuss, like, I haven't been streaming in a long time, obviously. And, you know, I haven't really been paying much attention to the Panelverse. I've been paying a little attention, but, you know, TML, you're like, you have like the best angle on catching what the fuck is going on in this Panelverse. And I'd rather like to just like, I don't want to project my opinions on anything because I don't know what the fuck is going on. So, I just want your insight. Like, catch me up on the Panelverse. Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Like, right now, today, right in this moment, the first thing you want to tell me about the Panelverse. Like, what's going on, in your opinion?
well, it depends what angle you look at things, but obviously it looks pretty staged, right? The entire ordeal is pretty fake. I think there's lots of we discovered lots of production companies, lots of coordination and so on and so forth. So yeah,
Coordination, like, so to me, like, what I've seen in this life is like the coordination with individuals who can't stand on their own, like you very much do, and I do my best to, into which regard I don't know, but I'm not working with fucking groups out here. I'm not trying to like get somebody else to join my team to share what I think is the truth, like as a power force. You know, the truth stands on its own, and that's what you deliver constantly on your show. So, like, what do you think about that? Like, what's going on, man? Fucking catch me up, man. I am so behind this Panelverse. You're already hitting on some major points.
well, obviously, you know, the techniques of amusement and the techniques of propaganda are like one and the same, right? In the modern age, or however we say, right? Because the methods that we employ, right, as one of the thinkers said, the medium is the message, right? So whatever the means you use, that kind of colors what you're trying to say, right? So it's pretty obvious that we live in a mass society, and the point of the propaganda in the society is to draw people into to draw people in a sort of particular situation, right? To talk to the individual, but talk to the individual that's contained within the mass.
Right. Okay. All right. I love the way you put that. It's like when we're born, we get stuck with all these vaccines and all. This is my show. I'll say it. Vaccines and fucking all this bullshit with the doctors. We're immediately enrolled from this pure spiritual state into like foreign technologies being inserted into us, and the rest of our lives are like influenced by that, and we're put in this fucking state of like being governed by those around us rather than being governed by God. And like the technology, yeah, we can continue to lie. We can continue to like, and I know, like, I'm building you right up to the point because we had a conversation the other day. Like you laid it out so perfectly, and I'm trying to get there so quick, and maybe I'm going too fast. We have a musical break. Do you have a music video you wanted to play? Like, feel free to
Oh yeah,
insert
it's
your
there.
thoughts.
Yeah, it's there.
All right, let me play
Yeah, it's
that.
one that I made earlier that we played on your show. Maybe they'll rock with it.
All right, let's play that real quick, and before we get,
Yes.
because I'm already too fast. Like, which is like,
Yes, Flying Lotus.
let's go.
Don't you love it madly when it sleeps in your basement on some gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today shit? And don't you love the way that you can relate to everything your favorite rapper has to say about your hatred? Get a hobby. Now why they wanna watch me in some hotel lobby getting sloppy with this pillow built mommy? Probably never be global like Tupac, but the local boys will keep my shit hard in they jukebox. Sitting here pretending I'm not tipsy, watching oversensitive hippies use my records for they dog frisbees. Be a good little fishy and book me a ticket to your city so your girlfriend to kiss me. I'm the bee that came to pollinate the flower, make a meal, borrow a towel, and take a shower. It's called love. In return they bake bread, pay dollars, make beds, catch buzz, give head. They call it love, and I get plenty of it. The rich kids burn it, my broke people dub it. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. The snakes always wanna put your name where their tongues. They call it love, and I get plenty of it. Give hugs to the public, put plugs in the budget. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. But they know who to call when they want the party jumping. We bust into your system, search through the evidence, open and hoping to find why you love your residence. Put your fists up, or put your chips up. Advocate, act dope to get your fabric ripped up. They said like what? Like they didn't know me. 6'3" ugly mug in a simple flow. Like that. And a bottle of Jimmy Beam. Peace, my name is Slug and I'm down with the winning team. They wanna kill my steam, I didn't care. Just leave me to the Phoebe with the pretty hair, jumping up and down with the passion of a battle. Jester of the kingdom, see me macking at the castle. Sean is such an asshole. Nah, I'm a dickhead, stealing cigarettes from the rest of the misled. Enjoy me, avoid me, do what you must do, but man up and understand why they don't love. They call it love, and I get plenty of it. The rich kids burn it, my broke people dub it. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. The snakes always wanna put your name where their tongue call it love, and I get plenty of it. Give hugs to the public, put plugs in the budget. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. But they know who to call when they want the party jumping. Looking through your pinhole, who you gonna insult? Atmosphere get up in here, shit, where'd your grin go? Got a sock full of nickels and quarters for unsupportive cop smokers that wanna ripple these waters. You hate to love it, keep changing up the subject, still ain't saying nothing. We knew that you would jump ship. Get back inside your magic pumpkin, you puppet, cause all you got left in your life is a big what if. No names, this pertains to a flock of you. The fuck you gonna do when no one's watching you? Sweep up the fuck ups, tighten up the luck nuts, let your world turn with no concern for what Slug does. I'm not number one, I'm just my mother's son. No regrets, show respect, what's done is done. I understand why you're so discouraged. Now show your love like it was when you was this earnest. They call it love, and I get plenty of it. The rich kids burn it, my broke people dub it. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. The snakes always wanna put your name where their tongue. They call it love, and I get plenty of it. Give hugs to the public, put plugs in the budget. They call it hate, and I get plenty of it. But they know who to call when they want the party jumping.
Oh, dude, I love the lyrics. Who is that again?
It's Atmosphere.
Oh, which one?
It's a song called They Call It Love, but I mixed it up.
I love the mix. I noticed the viewership dropped straight down, not because of the fucking music, and it's like the fucking bots, like the way they program the system. Is like the moment you try to play some fucking music, they're like, "Shut it down, shut
Yeah,
it
I'm doing a
down."
music show later, and it's weird that actually when I turn on the camera and just talk about anything, there'll be more people watching for some reason. And it's like they showed up to watch me talk. So it's almost like 4 or 5 agents show up every time there's just like people talking or something like that.
Well, that's the case whenever
Or
you.
bots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was saying about earlier when I first introduced the show. And it's like the group dynamics. It's like people can't stand on their own. They need to like have support to support their bullshit. They can't just stand on their own. And that's some spiritual bullshit like that. It travels through entities unseen into our lives all the time. I mean, much less online. I mean, like, yeah, online, of course. It's the main habitation of those forms. But like, these jinns operate in all sorts of fucking perspectives in our lives too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few lines from Alul in his book Propaganda that are highly relevant, right? He says in a part discussing the external characteristics of propaganda entitled The Individual and the Masses, any modern propaganda will first of all address itself at one and the same time to the individual and to the masses. So this idea of the individual and the mass is pretty much just a modern phenomenon, right? You can't really have an individual or a mass, right? A mass is like the massification of man is like how like man can be turned into numbers, right?
Yeah.
But the individual is an idea that constitutes this notion called liberalism, right? And that's a modern concept, right? So like when people lived in tribes and societies and villages, and when they lived in feudal society, right? Nobody was like an individual, right? They came up with that concept, right?
Well,
And one of the yeah,
it's the land of independence, right?
right.
Independence, and by being independent as an individual, you become dependent on the government.
Well, that's what de Tocqueville said, right? De Tocqueville wrote a work called Democracy in America, right? And he said that everybody in America is free, but they learn how to be free the same way, right? So he said that
Right.
freedom, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So the freedom and equality is kind of opposed, right? Because everybody is free in the same way. So everybody achieves their freedom in the same way because everybody has like a similar education, they have similar aspirations. So he says that even though Americans like are more or less free, they're the least governed people on earth. They're the most conformist people on earth.
And likely the most confused. They're probably the most confused because they don't know where to stand as individuals. They have their independence, but they're paying taxes for their property that they quote unquote own. You know, their labor is being taxed. Every time they go make a purchase, it's being taxed. They own nothing, but they pretend like they've worked hard for it. And
Right.
rather than appreciating the natural order of things, which is the creative force that governs actual reality.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is another thing we talk about is like feelings of inferiority and over socialization. Feelings of inferiority is the idea of atomization when the individual feels contained within a mass, right? And then over socialization is feeling too much identified with the mass, right? Because you're so much consumed with the products of massification and of the monoculture, right? So there's a dual effect within a technological society, right? So here's another little line here. It says, because to create certain convictions in an isolated individual is much too difficult, propaganda ceases where simple dialogue begins. And that is why, in particular, experiments undertaken in the United States to gauge the effectiveness of certain propaganda methods or arguments on isolated individuals are not conclusive. They do not produce the real propaganda situation. Conversely, propaganda does not aim simply at the mass, the crowd. A propaganda that functioned only where individuals are gathered together would be incomplete and insufficient. And here's where he makes the main point. He says modern propaganda reaches individuals enclosed in the mass as participants in the mass, yet it also aims at a crowd, but only as a body composed of individuals.
And this is Jacques Ellul,
Right,
Ellul.
right.
So he wrote the book Propaganda, which was one of the first books I showed on this show. And somehow by happenstance, I'd found it through someone who'd recommended it to me. And just flipping through that book, I was like amazed when I found that many years ago, like back when I first started this, and you caught on to that and saw that. And but Ellul, like you already looked into Ellul way longer than I ever did. So because you read a lot of books. So like, and I don't. I have a lot of books though, but I don't read. I don't read them much. I write a lot, but I love fascinating books. So like, what are like two other key points you would bring out of that work that he did there? Because there was a lot in there that he covered.
Well, it's like he says, you know, that the mass, right, or the crowd is a body composed of individuals, right? So this whole idea of, individualism and collectivism, comes to be framed in the modern context. And also, there's another point that is pretty important that he makes, about how there's a law of effectiveness within propaganda, that whatever works sort of is the thing that is promoted, right? So it's kind of like, how in technology there's a law of efficiency, in propaganda there's a law of effectiveness.
Well, I would say it's like Americans are enslaved by convenience. The microwave
Yeah.
oven cooks the fucking hot pocket in a minute and a half versus having to prep a meal and do this and that. But like that, to have that in your life requires this dependency on all sorts of technology, like that we aren't even like looking at as individual people. While we pretend to have independence because we can go to the grocery store and buy a hot pocket and cook it in our microwave oven. Like, but we're all doing
Well, that's
that.
the thing, is that
They were at one point.
is that education and amusement, right, are basically propaganda techniques that are meant to assimilate you in the technological society. So that's like one of the main points that he's making.
And the technological society is like this synthetic version of reality. And it comes in many forms. It's like kind of like it comes in many forms. But the reality is like the breath in our lungs comes to us every moment, just like the Bible tells us about. Not like birds don't have to worry about where their food's going to come from, or their shelter. It comes to them every day as they do it, just like it comes to us every day as we do it. But this whole society has been infiltrated into our minds, our psyches, our spirits, to bring us to the constant conclusion that we have to work for what is free. And we are free. But technology is an ever constant battle of like, how are we going to get the energy to fuel this conversation? How are we going to do this? We have to work towards it. We have to put an effort. We have to plan and operate with groups and compounds of individuals to make it happen. And it's kind of the reverse formula of what you were just suggesting there as well. Both are happening simultaneously, yin to yang.
Yeah, this is a clear inversion of that, right? So I'll read it again. He says, modern propaganda reaches individuals enclosed in the mass, and as participants in that mass, yet it also aims at a crowd, but only as a body composed of individuals. Then he goes on to say, what does this mean? First of all, that the individual is never considered as an individual, but always in terms of what he has in common with others. The propagandist profits from the process of diffusion of emotions through the mass, and at the same time from the pressures felt by an individual when in a group. The individual,
Diffusion of emotion. But please feel free to continue that quote, but I want to pause. Diffusion of emotion.
yeah.
Diffusion of emotions through the mass. What does that mean to you?
Well, obviously, propaganda is kind of like a public and a private situation at the same time, right?
Oh, right. Because you're causing the individual to do one thing, you're causing the group to do another, and you're directing both simultaneously as the propagandist from the devil's point of view. Kind of is like what he's pointing at.
Yeah, he's kind of like using the separation of the two things to explain it, for sure. And then he says the individual must never be considered as being alone. One deals in reality with a unit submerged into an invisible crowd composed of all those who have been interviewed, who are being interviewed, who will be interviewed, because they hold similar ideas and live by the same myths, and especially because they are targets of the same organism. And he says that.
So are you suggesting that just because I watched Dragon Ball Z and I recognize where your avatar is coming from, that I'm part of a similar myth to you?
Pretty much.
So what is he says what about the myths again?
Well, it's the creation of myths, right? Right. Propaganda deals in like this whole idea of the creation of myths, and obviously technology is like one of the main myths of our time, right? And
Well, there used to be like, so like talking about the technology and the unifying myth, it's like it used to be that the mainstream news story, like World War II, Pearl Harbor attack, that came through the newspaper. Now again, we have this phone in our hand. It tells us immediately everything that's going on every day. The unifying myth is gone. It's a myth of disillusion at this point, but it's from the same origin. From my expectations of what the fuck I'm seeing.
well, it's the myth of the machine, and then there's the myth of progress. Those kind of replace this idea of soteriology on the one end and then eschatology on the other, right?
Plus soteriology, like as in the accelerationist.
No, that would be the whole idea of sin.
Explain that for a moment.
Like that we're in a fallen state, right?
Yeah,
So the thing that
I just shared a signed book of Jesse Lee Peterson, that I bought in 2021. And his YouTube channel is his alternative YouTube channel is the Fallen State.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But
So,
please
yeah, that's
continue, please.
that's a huge concept in Protestantism, right? But it's been inverted, right? To talk about how, the whole idea of evolution, right, means that we have to sort of conquer ourselves, and that we're in a fallen state because, like, man must be overcome, right? Because he invented God, right? So he's got to, like, overthrow God and then kind of like transcend nature using technology.
Well, God is overthrown for him at his birth. The moment the child comes out of the womb, bang, 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 all this technology, vaccines and RXs and all this type of bullshit is put into their minds immediately. They're born in a hospital simulation rather than being like of nature off the bat in America. That's what the United States. If you can go get a doula, great. Maybe that'll relax a little bit better on your medulla oblongata. But like, rather than being a hospital birth, but it's right off the fucking bat. You're stuck with all this shit, which is you're pointing at, and maybe you can recall this at some point. But there's a specific verse in the Bible, and I can never fucking recall it as many times as I try to. Every man, Jesus. I think these are Jesus's words. Like every man is born under the tutors, the government, the senators, blah blah blah, something like this. And at the appointed time of the Father, they come under the law of God, the Most High God. They're reborn. And like it takes me every time I go to look that one up, it's buried in the search results. Every time some other verse comes up that is something similar but not quite the same. And that one always stands out to me. And I wrote it on my website, healinglaw.com. We got by the way, anyone who's ordering the Sefer Bible through my website, healinglaw.com, like, it's not a hardcover anymore. They went to soft covers. It's nearly the same price. And, but it's a much better version. It's got gold gilded outside edges. It's pretty cool. I just saw it the first time today. And I think this happened like a year ago. And I've been selling the Sefer Bibles forever. You can go check out the Healing Law podcast. I interviewed Dr. Stephen Pigeon of the Sefer Publishing Group. I know I don't have to say anything beyond that. And, and by the way, many people out here in the YouTube streets, like Jack Talcott, Laren Hallmark, not Dr. Stephen Pigeon. He didn't get back to me about it, but Dr. Stephen, what is that dude's name? There's a different Dr. Stephen that reached out to me after I reached out to Dr. Stephen Pigeon to get on the podcast. He's happy to have the fulvic acid sent to him. And TML, I owe you that as well. I've already told you a long time ago I would send you that. I haven't figured out how to do that. We'll figure that out whenever we can. But if anyone's like looking for that, OperationAmericanGrit.com is like fully active, and there's no bullshit involved. Okay, if you buy your Shilajit from India, you might get some bullshit. I don't know. Anyhow, TML, we've talked about a lot of things in the first fucking 29 minutes, and we're at the 30-minute mark, and the whole fucking point of this, and it's my fault for not getting here faster, is catching up on the Panelverse. I haven't been on here in months and months and months. If you want to break down the Panelverse, like, I don't even want to suggest names or whatever. like what immediately comes to your mindset about like what has happened that I need to know?
Well, I'd say there's been significant amount of intrusion by larger media groups. Like for example, right, like just today, right, and I don't know if people know what I'm talking about, but there's a show called Uncle Fatty, right, where they do like black people. They have like a dating show, right? So Raging Tomato and all these people have been on that show. So today, Andrew Wilson went on there with Myron Gaines, and I guess they got like booted from the stage or whatever.
Wait, do you
Right.
have this clip right now?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it. Yeah.
Is it like under like a minute and a half?
Here, let me see where it is.
And feel free to continue to expound on like the explanation of this clip. But like,
Well, I have no idea what the context is here. Let me show you. I just saw this right before the show.
I of all people certainly do not. I haven't. The only show I've watched recently is yours and Jack Talcott's, and I stay away from Flow State because every time I tune in, it's some drama that I don't know how to adhere my consciousness to on
Yeah,
any
this is
level.
because our buddy here is now in the Discord. So the Panelverse. So we're in communication with the Panelverse.
Presents.
Yeah.
Well, the Panelverse presented itself to you. Shit.
Yeah, the Panelverse presents. Yeah.
Now, while we're pulling up this clip here, we have the team of associates in the background. Not really though. There's no fucking production value to this bullshit. So like, oh my god, but everything in my life is bullshit. So I don't consider mine above anyone else's. The only reason I say that, but fucking, like, hey, you want to support this show financially? PayPal.me/healinglaw.com. Wait, healinglaw.com. That's where the Sefer Bibles are at. In the lexicons, all sorts of information, like really tap into what the Bible is sourced from. And the Healing Law podcast had an excellent interview with Dr. Stephen Pigeon and of the Sefer Publishing Group, the guy who like made that shit happen. So, if you want to check that out, I encourage you to. And meanwhile, he's putting on a show tomorrow. We're not going to get too much into that right now, but we will talk about it in a second. Tomorrow, TML has a show going on, and the machine lies, of course. I mean, like I've been saying TML all night, but I feel like people that are listening know the machine lies. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
So,
they know.
Yeah. So, like, I encourage y'all to check that out. And he's always dropping, like, whenever I need to catch up on the Panelverse, whatever that is, whatever this spiritual thing is that's going on out here, like, if I need to tune into the Panelverse for a moment, the most valuable information I find, besides Jack Talcott, is the Machine Lies himself. I mean, Frank Monday has some pretty decent commentary from time to time, but there's no one that quite gets it. Like
Yeah, Frank Monday is cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. But he was also supposed to come on the Healing Law podcast, I heard, and they never heard back from him. That's what I'm hearing. A little birdie told me that, and that was months and months ago. So if Frank Monday's out there and listening, the Healing Law podcast would love to have you on as a guest. We have actually who am I talking about? They have lawyers reaching out to them to be on the show, doctors. It's actually pretty crazy over there. It's really insane. But Timo, do you have this clip pulled up that we can play? Please give us the context again. There's so much. I'm so behind.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's just posted.
And what is the context of this clip again?
It's Myron Gaines and Wilson on a smaller show that the Powder Dusty and Raging Tomato and all these people have been on before.
Is this straight from the Panelverse? You have the source material of the Panelverse, bro? Whoa.
This is posted by him an hour ago. Because this just
Wow.
happened, but this just happened on a show, like within the last 3 hours. But he already had the clip posted.
All right, let's get into it.
Wants to laugh, but I'm just,
Yeah, it's just funny. Okay, some of the shit's funny. What do you want me to do? I can't help what I laugh at. Anyway, no,
Yo,
he
notice
came
how
in.
much he's breathing, bro. This dude's taking
Yeah.
7 breaths for
He
my
came-
one. This
when-
nigga's
when-
fat as fuck.
When
Bro,
Myron
why are you
came
breathing
in,
all
it's
our air, bro?
4v1.
Like, what?
I point out to you, he's not in a violation. There's no contradiction. There's no nothing. You won't engage with that. The gentleman below me, Dr. Ilkins, Ali, says, well, wait a second. Andrew doesn't have to demonstrate or show evidence for a claim. But that's exactly what I did by showing you how there's no contradiction, anything like this. I'm walking you through what's called a logical claim, giving it to you in premise form, showing you that's evidence.
Bro, he's Dr.
That's
Retard,
actual
Andrew. You can't
evidence.
reason with this guy. It's Dr.
So
Retard.
you didn't answer his
You
question.
can't take these people seriously. Dr.
And we're not going to
fucking
be,
retard.
and we're going to show the demonstration. We haven't disrespected anybody on the panel. He's been the disrespectful one. He's
No, no,
actually.
no, no, no.
Hey, Ali, check the
Andrew,
DM.
you're-
No,
you're-
hey, one second. Ali, check the
Andrew
DM.
ain't the
Hey,
Dr.
one
retard.
second. One
We got
second.
orangutan titties
No,
over
hey,
here.
one second. Hey, Andrew. You know what? You know why I know that Ali's right? Because when Tez was calling you white boy and all these things, we literally stopped it and said, let's not make this racial. Let's not go. Let's talk about the argument because both of y'all seem informed. Myron sees the moment he got here until now,
Bro,
he's not having no argument, no nothing.
And you know what it is, Fatty?
Ali, check the
I
message.
see it, Fatty. We about. I said I got you.
A basic
But
argument.
the
Because
real.
you're fucking
Hold
dumb.
on.
We got Dr. Retard talking.
I hear you, Fatty. The real thing is when they do counterintelligence, he has to act like this. They don't act like this to people they really think
If
is
you're
stupid.
going to mute,
What-
if you're gonna
hey,
mute Myron,
Hey, Andrew, he's
if you're
literally
muting
talking.
Myron, we're done.
He's literally y'all. Right. Look
Oh,
at your
y'all gone? Y'all gone?
Look at your. If y'all both gonna go then, because y'all. They don't. They don't. They don't
That's
do
the
this with
only
low-
answer. If y'all
That's
gone,
it.
y'all gone. This is the
don't-
only answer.
They don't do that with low IQ people. They'll let low IQ people
Can
talk
we
themselves
pause
into
this
the
clip
grave.
for one
When
moment?
they're talking to people who have intelligence and can counter their responses,
that's
they
the
always
whole
gotta do the
clip.
dumb debate bro stuff, and then they gotta actually throw.
Can we
That's the
pause it
entire
for one
clip.
thing? On the left, that's Hanko's Flamio, right? Top left.
No.
Oh, it's not. Who's it?
His name's Uncle Fatty.
Oh shit, that's Uncle Fatty. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
He looked
Uncle
like Hank,
Fatty.
He looked like Hank for a moment.
Yeah, his name's Uncle Fatty, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah,
So there's-
I've seen him on flow states a couple times. Like a while ago. They've been hanging out for a long time. But like, so what do you gather from this clip? And then I want to ask you, what's going on with flow state? Like what after this, aka the powder dusting now. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get to him too. But we got another thing with Wilson.
Oh wait, Andrew Wilson was on this clip.
Yeah. He was on the clip. He got kicked off
I
the
didn't
show.
even notice. I didn't even see.
Yeah,
Can
he
we get
got
back to
kicked
what he's
off
on?
the show.
But I'll get right before he's kicked off. Can we get back to that? I didn't even notice he was on there. I know you told me that a moment ago, but like I already forgot, and I didn't see him. It was like irrelevant and to what is happening here, because Andrew Wilson might be a little irrelevant. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what people are looking for. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see. See, he's there. See, I started the clip where he was like full screen.
He's like the third. So you drop down below the
this is
top two
him.
people.
See, he
He's
has
the-
him
he's
up
the
and he's arguing
there
with
he
him.
is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he brings this guy up, and this guy starts calling somebody orangutan titties, and he starts saying that this guy, Dr. Ilkan Ali, is Dr. Retard. So he starts calling him Dr. Retard. So then he mutes him. And then Wilson goes, if you're gonna mute Myron Gaines, I'm just gonna leave the show, and then he just leaves.
Hey, Ali, check the DMs. No, one second. Ali, check the DMs. Hey, know that Ali's right? Because when Taz was calling you white boy and all these things, we literally stopped it and said, let's not make this racial. Let's not go. Let's talk about the argument because both of y'all seem informed. Myron, since the moment he got here until now,
Bro,
he's not having no argument, no nothing.
And you know what it is, Fatty?
Ali, check the
I see it, Fatty. We about I got you.
Basic
But
argument.
the
You're
real
fucking dumb. We got Dr. Retard talking again.
I hear you, Fatty. The real thing is when they do counterintelligence, he has to act like this. They don't act like this to people they really think
If
is
you're
stupid.
going to mute,
Hey, Andrew, he's literally talking. He's literally y'all. Right, look what
y'all gone.
Look at if y'all both gonna go then because y'all.
So Andrew Wilson was the third. Like, if you go back, we don't have to play a clip again. But like, would you go back to that panel like a moment ago? Just the image of the panel. Is it enough?
Yeah.
He's like on the. So there's the two guys on top. Andrew Wilson is. So there's a chick, and then there's the dude with the nappy dreads, and that's Andrew Wilson, the third guy, right?
Yeah.
So from the bottom, the third guy, you know that I'm not gonna let you get away with that. What's up? Obviously, this Andrew Wilson guy is like fully shaven on the full right.
Yeah. But here's another clip. Yeah, let's just go to this one.
Hold on, TML. I'm gonna have to ask you to pause the clips for a moment, dude. Tomorrow night you have a show. Now, all right. Let's talk about that for a moment. Tomorrow night, what do you hope? What are you gonna cover? What are you looking to do? Are you gonna play that? Because some clips, or maybe you're even the made by machine, Bob. Because I'd rather have a conversation with you than watch clips with you. Because if I could watch clips online all day, I'd be online all day, and I choose not to be. So, like, what's your show about tomorrow? And like, we can play the clip. I don't mind, but I do want to like point to the fact that like this is not like something you just started looking into. You're catching me up on Panelverse drama, but like over your long term of like watching you out here, like clearly you're like showing this overarching network of something different that is dependent on technology itself to survive, and encouraging individuals who are, part of this collective mass that they don't understand, this cancerous mass. In many cases, unfortunately, they develop cancer in their bodies because they're dependent on this technology. And rather than the spirit, the breath of life that comes through them every moment, really unfortunate. But what's your tomorrow night? You have a show, and at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, I believe. And like, what is it that you want? That you're like, I know your overarching thing is like exposing this technology, but tomorrow night, like, what's your expectations of what's going to be covered there?
Well, I'm looking at an overarching idea of either progress versus this idea of the cyclical view of history, right? So you have, whether you're looking at the cyclical view of history, you have a bunch of people, right? Such as Rene Guénon, right? He talked about Atlantis and Shambhala and all these ideas that are exposed in the occult. But what these ideas are based on is that there's this ancient civilization in the past that was extremely advanced, and it's going to return at some point. Right, so whether you have, the notion of, Atlantis or Shambhala or
hold on. This notion of the past is going to be returned at some point, but this notion of the past is like, then all of a sudden you start looking into the stars and their influence, like the different tribes that come from different stars.
Yeah, he was talking about that. Yeah, he was talking about, because see, he was talking about the Kali Yuga, right? So he thinks that there's a cyclical thing of history, right, where it's gonna like destroy itself and then come back. And there's another guy named Giambattista Vico, right? Giambattista Vico, if you look him up, right, I think he founded his historiography or what did he found?
That's a totally new name to me. And shout out to Star Fox. We will open up a panel in about like 45 minutes. And it'd be great to have you on for a moment. If there's a bunch of people that want to jump on, we will be restricting the time limit if there's too many like people in line. But like Star Fox, for real, it'd be great to catch up with you and see what's going on in about 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, it says here that it says he's an Italian philosopher, rhetorician, historian, and jurist, right? And it said he criticized the expansion of the development of modern rationalism, finding Cartesian analysis and other types of reductionism impractical. Now, Rene Guénon also criticized the philosophy of Descartes, right? He thought Descartes like separated us from nature and all this stuff. So this is one of the main points. Is A, the cyclical view of history, right, against this view of progress, and B, man's separation from nature through this view of abstract reason, right? So they talk about how both of these things became a component of history.
It's like, to me, when I see this shit, it's like the Constitution. Our forefathers made this Constitution. I don't know any of them. I've heard that like somehow maybe like
right
generations removed from them in some regard, like 10 plus though, like 10 plus generations removed. I mean, that's a stretch. And even if that's true, it's like, what the fuck relevance does it have to my modern reality?
Right.
And like, we're supposed to like adhere our consciousness to this Constitution that was developed to keep the government in check, not the people. And hundreds of years ago, while these corporations take over fucking society and all this technology influences all this bullshit, it's like the Constitution of our hearts is what convicts us in court. And that's why I love Paul and Slave's message. He really gets at that. He really does. Like, of all the things that he may or may not do, like, he really gets at that. But then simultaneously, there's this whole it was like something about the abstract. What was it about the abstract? The government creates this abstract perspective or something like this.
Oh yeah, definitely has to do with the state and the combination of the state, right, and also the use of nationalism, right, for propaganda instead of like having a culture. Like nationalism kind of replaces culture, right, in a lot of ways. So
well, I could see why that wouldn't matter. Like in Germany, that was a small town, like the Nazis, National Socialists. It was a small place.
right.
And then it built out from there to the United States of America, where people don't even know whether they're a United States citizen or an American. They don't know the difference between that, much less the states that they think they're from. Like, it gets fucking insane.
Well, that's one thing that Jefferson tried to instill, right? He had this idea of republicanism, right, where you need to create government on the local level to function in conjunction with the state and the federal government. So this was a design he laid out to consolidate power, and he thought that all these different systems, right, that the local system, which is kind of broken today, right? So that's the problem, is that when you have an overarching system, right, over time, it starts to give it up to the people at the top. So
Well, you could simply break that down between like the Articles of Confederation. I think have I don't remember the you might better than I do. It's like there was the Articles of Confederation, and there's some civil war like over oysters and like who could trade them. But and this all led up to the actual civil war. And the people like demanded that there be more power to the states than the federal government, and that's why they granted the United States Constitution. And it's kind of crazy because like you see the fruits of the Constitution, which is being born, being jabbed right off the bat, having skin snipped off of men. But and people want to criticize the fucking Muslims for doing something the opposite. Like what the fuck? Like can we criticize the Jews a little bit here? Like what the fuck, dude? Some shit is happening off the bat. Traumatization, and it's like they're trying to equalize it across the nation about like that the consciousness is like adhered not to the individual but to that limited consciousness, while granting the individual the rights to explain themselves while never understanding who they are. Constantly, on every fucking level.
yeah, the local politics are basically just a casino for the large corporations. So it is what it is.
And now we've gotten to the point where the UFC is boxing at the White House. Like a confederation of corporate interests is boxing. They're fighting to a blood sport battle at the White House itself. Like we don't know what led up to the Civil War, but like it probably wasn't this much different. There's probably a boxing match between, there's so many ways to take it. I'm gonna shut my fucking mouth and listen.
Yeah, a boxing match between Machine Bob and Armageddon Bob.
Yeah, the Machine Bob guy. Oh yeah, yeah. I recall that individual. Like, I have family all around where he was like organized from, and we're all trying to understand ourselves. So like, I can't be too critical of him, but that motherfucker does some shit. I see his stickers, and nobody even knows what the influence is. They don't even see the influence of him in the area he's from. It's amazing. They didn't even know, like, where that information arises from. And like, when you can find the eyes to see and ears to hear.
Well, it's just weird that both Wilson and Jim Bob are both part of the Bear cult.
Oh yeah, well it's all. Oh my god! Don't get me started in the operation. My favorite commercial is my favorite. I love then it gets challenging.
Yeah. So then it's like, how long has Jimmy Boy known the Wilsons, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's an important question, really. Like, and we've actually had him up here several times. You and I have had him
They
here.
probably knew each other as Bears or whatever.
Oh, but he's willing to throw the Bears under the bus allegedly. But like, it's like this whole fucking bullshit game where he like plays the victim to the Bears to get his YouTube viewership instead of putting the truth out. Like, as far as I've seen.
Oh, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus is in control of the White House Fight Sunday. That's like HBO. Well, they're all the same fucking company. It's all a group of people trying to obfuscate who they are operating under in order to take over the world. It just doesn't work like that, especially not now.
Yeah, it's like 6 big ones. It's like ABC, Disney, NBC, Universal. Um, there's Viacom. I mean, uh, there's another one that's slipping my mind.
And an endeavor to persevere. I don't know if you're like Carl in disguise or some shit, but like I've never seen you on the Machine Lies channel, like in his chat. I highly encourage you to check that out because I appreciate that you show up here all the time for me and have across channels for years.
Okay,
Much
so
more than, like I encourage you to check out the Machine Lies, dude.
yeah,
Tomorrow
Fox,
night he has a show. We're not allowed
Fox
to talk
is
about
one of
this.
them. So
Oh.
it says here, it says current big 6 corporations. Walt Disney owns ABC, ESPN, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm. Comcast owns NBC, Universal, Peacock, and Sky. Warner Brothers owns CNN, HBO, Warner Brothers, Discovery Channel, and Max. Paramount owns CBS, MTV, Nickelodeon, and Paramount Pictures. Sony Group owns Sony Pictures, Columbia Pictures, and PlayStation. Amazon Inc. owns Prime Video and MGM. So yeah, you guys could look this up. This is what it says. I don't know if you guys ever heard that before.
So repeat the context of that information. No,
Uh,
I have not. Well, when
you've never heard that
when
before?
he said PlayStation, hold on one second. When he said PlayStation, I heard Plague Station. However, please repeat it and give the context because I missed the context. That's what I missed.
Well, I'm not gonna repeat it, but it's 6
What's the
media
context?
6 media corporations that like own like most of the shit.
Back in the day, this is the first political thing that I ever encountered in my life that I cared about. Besides voting for like the libertarian, I think it was Bob Barr back in like way back when. It was like, yeah, the Occupy Peace. No, Occupy Peace is like a movement that Gerald Celente is starting. That's a different thing. I don't understand what he's doing there, but he gives me the time of day when I show up to his place and ask him questions every time. Though he doesn't remember who I am, which is very odd to me. But he has a lot of people to encounter. So, we had the Occupy Wall Street movement, which was like the first like global movement. There's like the Marxist ideologies of this global revolution, and from like after like right after World War II, they're putting in, I forget the names of it. But you had Occupy Wall Street. It started in New York City, I think, and then it went worldwide. And the longest term relationship I've ever been in was with the chick I met there, and she came up to me. And my life changed from there because, new perspective enters. It's like, so then it's like you have the mass fucking versus the individual. It's like I'm at a point in my life where I've shut my fucking doors to any new considerations about like any individual entering my space at this point in my life is under high scrutiny. And the people that are in my life are there for a reason and have been for a reason. And whether it be my mother and my father, first and foremost, my brother, my sister, all my friends and people I met along the way. And despite how I might feel about them, like holding on to the love we've shared throughout the journey is, to me, the Christ consciousness. That's the truth. Is that God loves us so much that He shows us love through the people around us on our journey into His life. And then we have this technological encounter where T-Mails, you're saying that like technology will destroy society in some ways. It's leading society into destruction through this mass consciousness, and rather than being the individual and not being independent is so like it's the land of the free, the home of the brave, right? Yeah. What the fuck did what's his face say? What was that guy? Fucking you know the motherfucker I'm talking about. I know you do. Land of the free and home of the slave. What the fuck is that dude's name? He was an albino guy. Rhyme sayers.
Yeah. Yeah,
What's
it's like
his
I
name?
said. Well, what you got?
You when I shared this song with you a while ago, you knew who he was. He's this albino. I forget.
Oh,
And
Brother Ali, I think.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, but but yeah, you can't ghost somebody in a village, as I say, right? So in a village, you're kind of interconnected with the people in that village, or you're kind of tied into a small group. But when you're enclosed within a mass, and you're kind of detached, right, where you can be sort of left alone, but you're still a part of the sort of mass situation, right? So you don't have to be connected to anybody to be part of the mass situation as an individual. But in a village, it's kind of like you don't get to keep your individuality. You're a part of the village group, like, so you're like kind of forced to be part of it, but you can be yourself, right?
Well, part of the mass creation of human consciousness that I see. But I mean, refresh the image back to the 9/11. Towers being struck, and the whole world is like felt bad for America. It was like that was like the last time that was when the New World Order took over. One country shared the biggest headlines across the world. From our perspective, as a nation of people. And then everything devolved from there, like into an individual perspective where people felt empowered to share the truth that they had heard about what was really going on while they're still incorporated into this fucking life that's been given to them by the illusion versus recognizing who they are. And meanwhile, that's caused this whole counter conflict where it's like it's caused people to realize who they are versus like, especially at this point in time, on a grand scale. And technology will collapse. You cannot fucking indefinitely build technology through fucking mechanistic means if you don't understand the creative process through yourself. I mean, cannot happen. It doesn't operate on that level. Like you're constantly ahead. You're chasing a ghost that will never be present while building the future and being behind on the past. Eternally indebting the future generations to be subjected to your inability to accept the truth. And I'm not talking about you or anyone in the audience. I'm just It's what people fucking do.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, there's a whole idea of, as I'm saying, massification, right? And as Lowell says, he says the non-spontaneous union of the individual and the collectivity is one of the essential conditions of the development of techniques. Uh, and that is this idea of the mass man, how the mass man is created in the modern society.
The non-spontaneous, repeat it, the non-spontaneous.
Union of the individual and the collective.
Well, that's like a definition for inorganic. Like, it doesn't have practical means. It's totally overseen by a group of individuals conceiving what will happen for other beings that they feel like can't control themselves. And one way. There's many ways to put it, but that's one way. That's what I felt to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one of the ways he describes it is the process of massification. He says the process of massification corresponds, moreover, to the disappearance of anything resembling a community.
Because the community is totally abstracted into this. You're not just of your state in Florida. You're also an American, and you're also a part of the world. And but you're not just a part of the whole world. You're a part of the eastern hemisphere versus the west, or no, your western hemisphere. Because the western versus eastern medicine. I mean, you're talking about ancient fucking conflict. It's like the eastern medicine is like, I forget what western medicine. It's such a retarded argument. I can't keep up. There's so much bullshit. Western medicine is like the way of like cutting. They started with bloodletting and leeches and surgical means. And when you face trauma in an accident because you weren't where you're supposed to be, they can patch you up really quick. And versus the holistic approach of the empirical evidence provided by since Chinese days. Like you can trace that back to way back when. But there's been a division since that information entered versus the modern conflict of constantly adjusting and accelerating and from like accelerating. It never stops evolving. The medical approach of technology, like the technological approach to medicine, never stops evolving. It's ever changing versus the traditions of like ancient herbalism extend back thousands of years. And that was all hijacked under. I don't want to blame anyone. I'm not going to blame someone for it, but that's giving them credit. But corporate interests, the corrupt interests, and now I'm giving. Did I just give credit to the corrupt interest? Whatever the case may be, it did happen like around 1913. That's when they started taxing on people's literal time and infiltrating medicine to the point where they excommunicated the natural solutions to the problem to allow room for infiltration of these synthetic approaches.
Yeah, and even the doctors kind of like become like a part of the sort of corporate entities that control the hospital. So the doctor is assigned to you by the insurance company. Whereas, like back in the day, right, as one of my friends was pointing out earlier, right, the doctor used to be like a person in town that, I mean, like the doctor never had to get his own car fixed, right? Like, I mean, because people would always do favors for the doctor because when you needed something from the doctor, he would be there for you, right? So the town doctor was like a respected individual that everybody would go to, right? Whereas now it's like, the doctor is part of this corporate structure, and so on and so forth. That
Yes, and and families used to have a neighbor who knew medicine well.
yeah, the doctor used to come to your house, right? He used to
Yeah,
be like, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth.
and now you go to these expert facilities where before you even see the doctor, you have 4 different nurses come in and throw their opinion in, and none of them will ever see you again. Or they may, but like, they don't care about the outcome. When they're approaching you as an individual, they don't even see it. They're indoctrinated into this approach where it's like they don't even people don't see what they're being put into, the boxes they're being put into through the influences of the lack of knowledge. But if we don't look for, what the fuck is that Jim Bob quote? We don't look for gnosis. What the fuck is it? We don't look for gnosis, or what? We don't seek knowledge.
We don't
What is
seek
that one?
knowledge. That's Gnosticism.
It's like that's the opposite ideology of like that approach too. So I've been looking into like, I haven't been paying as much attention to Panelverse as usual by any means. But one show I tune into the most, the show I tune into the most besides yours, is Jack Talcott's. And he's had a lot of new guests on there recently. And I don't really quite get where they're coming from, like how they found his channel and what the fuck happened there. Do you have any idea of like what's going on there? Like, where did those guests find him from?
Yeah, it's a weird story, but I'll try to break it down the best way that I can. There's a bunch of people on the internet that are, well, this guy that he's collaborating with now is from a channel called Finding Gnosis. And there's a bunch of people on his channel that seem to be sort of, to an extreme degree, critical of either the state or human life or the world or even God, right? So they have all of these sort of extremely negative opinions. Well, the guy's channel is called Finding Gnosis, right? So the Gnostics and the sort of anti-natalists, but I don't know if anybody's ever heard that term, anti-natalist. There's a bunch of people on the internet that have developed a philosophy that say that human life is totally involuntary. And since we did not consent to be in this world, there's no reason for us to not be supported, right? Basically 100% by our parents if they basically refuse to do so, right? Since they brought people into this world, right? Then they should have some sort of way to leave, right? And there's a bunch of people, and this is also connected to veganism, right? So there's 3 groups in particular that are connected to these groups. One is the vegans, right? The second is the Gnostics, and the third is the anti-natalists, right? So you can see how the Gnostics and the antinatalists are connected, right? Because the Gnostics say that this world is a trap, right? So if this world is a trap, you shouldn't want to come into this world in the first place. So you don't want to be born. So that's antinatalism. Then veganism is because we cause suffering to ourselves and we live in suffering, right? We should try not to cause suffering to other animals, right? And that's one of the main reasons why humans beings are cursed. It's because they cause suffering to nearly all other life forms. So, yeah, so there's all these philosophies there.
Well,
So
they only cause suffering because of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's like their impact on society actually matters, and then they don't know how to cultivate that properly because it's a lot of fucking responsibility. And that's why they get into agriculture versus like slaughtering animals on a mass scale. And then most people can't even look at that information. Most people can't even grow a vegetable, much less consider what chemicals are being put into the meat they're supposedly eating. Like, it's a huge conflict there.
yeah, in some cases, both the freak. He asks, are they blaming the parents or God? If they're Gnostics, they're blaming God. If they're blaming the parents, they're antinatalists. But as I said, they combine the two, right? So some of them could be antinatalist and Gnostic and say, well, God brought them into this world and so did the parents, right? They claim some kind of compatibilism. Right. So there's all sorts of varieties of takes. Right.
And then I'm going to comment on this before I ask. We're going to open up the panel here in a moment. Star Fox, if you're listening, endeavor to persevere, to freak. We're going to limit the panel time here to like 30 minutes to an hour total. Like, and you know, just give me a time restraint. I think about like 10 minutes max for any individual. So in about what is it, 2.5 hours in, we're at 1 hour and 17 minutes in. I will be ending this for certain by then. I'll probably aim for 2:20. Maybe TML can pull up a music video to close us out at that 2:16 mark. Another 59 minutes from now. We're about to drop the link, but Star Fox, endeavor to persevere, and the freak. I know you guys like to jump up on panels sometimes. If you have some commentary here that is productive, that would be greatly appreciated. And obviously, the Machine Lives has a show tomorrow. I'm not going to continue to cycle through my past karmic things right now. What refresh us again, then. Like, I had many other points to make, but I had to like address some things.
Yeah, it's all good if you want to open up.
Antinatalism and all that shit, and then you have a music stream tonight.
Yeah, this is the people that Jack's fucking with, right? So.
Oh right. Oh wait. Refresh me on that. What was this?
That's the groups that he's involved with now.
And they all stem from what again?
I'm not sure from what, but there certainly is a few groups associated.
Yeah, well, obviously, but like recently, his audience has shifted greatly, and you're suspecting there's an influence from a certain appearance on somewhere. I literally like my first stream in a while, man. It's fucking difficult, man. I'm putting myself through it though.
It's all good.
I'm literally trying to catch up on the Panelverse. And what's the second half of this fucking title I wrote? It's dog catching up on the Panelverse. What's the rest of it? There's a turtle.
Turtle.
And then I can't read past the fucking turtle.
Psyoptics
a
and the
Psyoptics.
Sitch Online.
Oh, Ace. Oh, yeah, aka Psyoptics and the Sitch Online, dude. What's the Sitch, dude? That's what I'm getting at. What's the situation out here, man? So we got fucking all these different groups going on. We have all this. We talked about what we talked about earlier, which is like kind of really what's going on before the internet even existed. And now all of a sudden we have this technology in front of us, just like proposing that we're part of this new reality where we can cultivate some fake reality through a phone while having some false sense of empowerment and like individualizing the masses while collectivizing them into a governmental control operation. It's like, where the fuck do we go from here, man? I'm gonna drop this link here in like 9 minutes, but what's up with that? Like, what is that? Because to me, you refreshed me on some shit the other day about my like original image of like what the fuck God brought me here to do, and I saw it clear as day. And we talked about doing this show, and we're here right now. And we're doing an amazing job because right off the bat, you already like got me back there. Like I was already like on the trail. However, what the fuck is the point if we can't communicate it to other people? And that's one of my biggest challenges, obviously. Communicating with people. Somehow it's super easy on here. But like it's this false ease. And it's not necessarily understood. And you really kind of like have understood how to reach the right people and not try to go out of your way to get to people who aren't going to understand you. So before we drop this link, in about 7 minutes here, like what we've discussed tonight within that, and then what you want to, what you're looking for in your life, like where's the connection?
Well, I just think if you try to look for, the ideological, right, framework, right, and you look at the political ideologies, right, you'll discover that they're false idols, right? You'll discover modernism as a whole is basically a false idol, right? That nationalism, liberalism, capitalism, right, individualism, all these things are part of modernism. Right. And science and liberalism are basically just as false as the modern reconstructions of the religious ideals that people seem to rely on. And they seem to try to prevent everyone from trying to build a small community. Right. And that's this idea that we were talking about earlier, the process of massification, whether it be of culture, right, of production, of of people's ideologies, right? There's all these ideas, right, that people need to focus on, and obviously the reconstruction of these things as so does, right, always thinking that all of these things can lead us to some sort of new stage, right? And obviously I think that's entirely false, right? So that's kind of like the way I look at things is, as people can doubt this or that thing, but they don't really get to the real nitty gritty and, right, look at all of it, right? Take a real critical look at all of it, right? And if you do that, you're not going to be, achieving huge success, right? That's not the goal, really. Right, it's to work within a small parameter to do the things that you need to do, right, to get the things that are really important, right, and not everybody has to know about it, right, once you do it, right, and you're not really in charge of your creations anyways, at least the way they diffuse. Right. So
Right. That
so
was
you don't
actually
own
that was part of the major point that you made the other day. You nailed it on the head, and I'm not even gonna attempt to reiterate it because I've already lost trail of it. But that was part of what was said. That it's like
yeah,
we're
it's either you
mm,
use the system to get like into a huge platform where you're basically a puppet on a string, or you talk to a small group of people, right? You do a real thing, right? And a few people see it, and that's pretty much, if that's good enough for you, right? Then that's all that really matters, right? But trying to go out and you know um try to squeeze out the poison milk from the you know the behemoth, right? And so on and so forth.
well, right. By trying to squeeze out that poison milk, you might know how to do it, but like you might only wind up poisoning yourself, and we often do. And I guess that's how the antidote's built too. And people go through that process of doing that over and over and over again. And fucking adds up, man. I don't want to get too deep there because I know there's witches and warlocks listening, and in this world in reality, and they want to fucking use any fucking obfuscate, like like something that might be like slightly that they don't understand. They'll just like project onto it and try to use it against you constantly, especially when you're onto some shit. It's 11:11 and there's 11 people watching. Praise God. And there's mental clarity through the creation itself, like an adherence to like not fighting or subjecting yourself to like to first of all, it's a sin in my opinion to even like feel like you need to work, to feel like you have to put in work, you have to show up, like you need to do labor to earn some kind of material gain or wealth from this reality, when the breath itself is provided by God just by showing up every day. And like there's a counterbalance there though, because like despite the fact that I just said that, and I'd love any attack on that, I show the fuck up all the time, and I feel like I to help protect the emotions of people around me, I need to fucking show up and do extra work and do this and that. The reality is I can't do that. No matter what amount of effort I put in, I can't manage people's fucking emotions. They're gonna do what the fuck they do. And so like why would I even give a fuck? Like it's a very difficult balance. I mean, it's the yin yang going on all the time. It's this musical rhythm. There's a pattern of life when you like take time to breathe and feel the pace of reality. It's present eternally. That's how the fuck we're here. That's it. That's all the fuck I kind of get. Any remarks before we open up this panel for like if anyone wants to click the fucking link? I don't know. It's 8:11 here, says Little Wayne. GTGT 96. I don't even want to repeat the whole name. At 11 p.m. on my end. Oh man, I don't even want to read what they said. If they're saying that shit, like I'm not gonna repeat it. Like what the fuck, dude? I don't know. Do you know what that means, man? I don't know. All right, we're gonna open this panel right now for like 30 minutes to an hour, and like there will be time constraints if necessary. I think the most anyone will speak as an individual is like 15 minutes. If it's super compelling, but like we're not here for more than an hour. So we got Jack Talcott. We talked about this Crucible guy. What's up with Flow State? I don't think I've heard you touch on him tonight.
Well, he's done his last like maybe 20 shows or something like that about like Wilson. So he's trying to involve himself. And Wilson's been pretty generous with his time going on his show and then entertaining him on various platforms. So
Well,
I
we
think
did have
there's
a
some
conversation. Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm not like we had like because I haven't watched in about 3 months. The last update I got was from you, and
Yeah, I
so
called it out a long time ago, the gay ops between them. I think
well,
it's
when I checked out of this Panelverse, you had a Flow State and Sarah tending to fall out with Andrew Wilson. Now all of a sudden, like I leave, and they're like all of a sudden like standing up for him versus what Richard Spencer, like to like prop him up and shit.
yeah, weird.
Can you run us through that one really quick? Because I forget the details. I just like vaguely I recall.
So I guess Sarah invited Flo to her panel, and then she gave time to her guest that she invited as the headliner, right, which was T Jump. So Flo State got all offended and he left the show. So he started attacking Sarah the Tomato. So they had a falling out. And then Wilson came onto Flo's show to ask him questions about Sarah Tomato. Right. And then Sarah and Flo did a show about Andrew Wilson and Richard Spencer where they blamed Richard Spencer. And I have the clip of that, by the way.
Oh, we could watch that for sure. We do have an excellent guest that I haven't talked to maybe a year. Over 6 months. We have the Freak, and I do want to bring you up straight away.
The Freak.
What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Hey, thanks, guys. How you doing?
Yeah,
Haven't seen you in a while, Truther.
Yeah, it's been quite some. Well, I've seen you around on a lot of panels. You've done more paneling lately than me.
Yeah, last time we talked, we were talking about a Malcheesy for Sheezy.
Yeah, I got to say, man, the reason I came up here is, I've been floating around on a bunch of the, atheist channels, and I troll atheists all the time and stuff. So, what's happened is there's a whole group of either flat out LGBTQ plus whatever or communist. And I think that the two go hand in hand. But they've literally conglomerated, whether the content owners are aware or not, of the admin status of their chat of like at least 6 different shows, right? And so like they are basically bullying everyone out of the chat, and they're like pretty cutthroat and pretty ruthless. And whether or not the owners of the channel know that this is what's happened or not is something that I don't know yet. But
do you think this happened to Jack? He's under some kind of communist
No,
Takeover?
not Jack, but because Jack
Well,
doesn't. He's not an atheist, right?
Hold on. This is my show
Wait,
here. You're talking about a
wait.
commenter in the chat bullying people out of the chat room. So, based on my previous experiences of this, I want to know the names of people you suspect are bullying people out of the chat. And any evidence you have, you can submit to truth@healinglaw.com. But you can comment on any of that right now. But any screenshots you can send there.
Okay. Oh, wait, what's the site again?
Of truth@healinglaw.com, but that's less important than if you have names right now.
All right. Well, these are all people in the atheist channels. Like
What channels? What
like
channel?
what is it? I know them by their names, but it's the Justin and the Deconstruction Zone, Bible Guy,
Yeah, I
Dalton,
know that guy. Yeah, I've attacked that guy before.
John Cohen, Chris. Shoot, I forgot his last name. He does the morning daily atheist. But anyway, I mean, it's like
Not heard
literally like a rainbow free conglomerate takeover of about a handful of guys or girls or whatever I don't know what they are, but they're just nasty. They instigate. They bully.
Hold on, the freak. Hold on, before you get too emotionally involved about describing or feeling the need to explain yourself. What I'm saying is, I hear what you're saying, and I would like specific contextual evidence about that, like screenshots, and maybe TML we can do a Discord thing, or maybe, I don't know, but like you could also truth@healinglaw.com, but don't bombard me with it. But like, if you have specific contextual evidence about like individuals with screen names doing these behaviors, like I start to screenshot it and then like really consider what it means and what you should share there versus like sharing everything. However, like I get what you're saying totally. I just don't know the specific details of this operation.
Yeah, well, basically, it's. I think they're basically mostly transsexuals or cross-dressers or whatever. They're definitely part of the LGBT whatever Q plus A whatever thing, right? And the thing is, they are organized and they are taking over chats as like the admin, mods or whatever for the chats of certain shows, and they will, if they don't like you, they'll just block you straight away. I mean, it's I just wanted to like keep everyone like kind of aware of something new that I've seen lately and dealing with, and so maybe keep an eye out for themselves.
Right off the bat, the specific piece. What makes you think they're transsexual specifically?
Oh well, I've been in their Discord or on the channel itself here on YouTube. When they're doing their lives, and they. It seems like that's like a major theme. Like a lot of. I guess the thing is, if you're homosexual, you must immediately hate Jesus. That's like a requirement, apparently.
So
anyway, the Christians, of course, take the brunt of the. Heck, I'll even say abuse at this point because they gang stalk, they. Collude, they freaking conspire, they instigate, they rage bait, they do all kinds of everything to get you off that channel.
To freak,
anyway.
I apologize. The reality is here, you're hitting on some highly sensitive information. You really need to like consider the angle you're coming from before you bring this out in the public like you are right now. But I get the point you're making. However, like, if we just go out in the open having this conversation like unrestricted without like evidence and facts and details of screenshots and this and that, like we're just going to get this channel struck down and nobody's going to listen or get it anyhow, and Christ like will the people who could witness Christ and find his salvation may miss it entirely. So we really need to slow
that's all I have
down
to say. I'm good.
But like, I do want to hear more about this over time. Like, not right now per se, because like I'm way behind on that. I mean, I'm asking T-Mo to catch me up on 3 months of fucking Panelverse drama at least, and you're like hitting with specific details about something that I get what you're saying. But like, we just need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I just wanted to like let people be aware of like if they see something, like, you know, maybe make a note of it or whatever. And I'm good, so I'll drop down.
Yeah, anyone who wants to make a note of slow down and make a note of things when they catch your eye if you're not sure what's going on, for sure. It's
But
excellent.
you know, the thing is, these people, they've made it so miserable to actually go on panel or be in the chat that you literally have to screenshot every friggin' thing you post or they post. That's how fun it is to watch a live stream now because of these people. Ridiculous. So anyway,
Well,
I mean, and I can explain
dude,
like real quick, like basically they just want to basically paint you out to be like the yay hole of the chat, and you know they want to basically play like the moral high ground game, and they will do all manner of nasty things to get you to, like, even if you defend yourself, even if you're a straight person and you say the word literally, if you say gay, like you are now a homophobe, Adolf, you know, just by saying that. So anyway, it's getting ridiculous. Thanks, Truth or Cop.
Well, yeah, thank you. The reality is I've seen individuals like this, not in the specific regard you're saying, but like where they try to control the chat and they can't, you know, there's been a lot of instances like this in the YouTube Panelverse, and not, I don't know the specific actors involved with the specific characteristics you're portraying. However, like any screenshots of like the screen names, and they might be, you have to recognize too, and obviously I'm sure you do, but maybe you haven't considered it for a moment, like one operator can be under different channel names pretending to argue with themselves or against you.
Yeah, maybe that's, you know, that's always possible. Also, I just want to say, like, these aren't normally the people that, you know, what you call the Panelverse, you know, they're Truth or Cop. Like, these aren't any, this is a different kind of sector. This is like the not mainstream, but I don't know what they are, stream of like atheists that are part of what I would call the deconstruction zone, like affiliate network.
Deconstruction
anyway,
of what?
Deconstruction from Christianity.
What makes you? What is constructed around Christianity that they are deconstructing?
Well, they used to be believers apparently, and you know, had an epiphany, and now they're not. You know, and they're some of them are really hostile.
Well, the Bible refers to like anyone as unbelievers. I think it's like basically anyone is an unbeliever because at one time they knew the truth and then they unbelieved it. So all are unbelievers except for the guidance of Christ. And when that comes at the point in time of the Father, that's not up to us to make the work happen. It's up to God, the Most High God. Like, we can focus on it, and that's good for us, and we can hold that and bring it to others, but we can't make others experience it.
Yeah, man, everything you said is true right now. What I could say is like you know, a good amount of these people have been raised in church, were Christian, 20-year, 30-year Christians. You know, some of them not so much. Some of them are just, you know, LGBTQ plus, you know, young, rebellious, you know, snobs. But so there's a wide range, but they, you know, basically are rejected Christianity and any and all religions as a whole, because like that's the source of all evil and war anyway. So,
but we're all trained in that evil from birth, and we have to recover through that process, and that's why Jesus died for our sins. So, like, we have, like, there is a separation constantly.
Yeah. I'm
And
just
that's
saying,
just-
like, not only are they hostile towards like the religion and stuff, but the fact that this group in particular are either actively or knowingly or unknowingly, they're creating their own echo chambers and censoring people like on a dime, and I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you're like in a similar fashion to me, where you come out and you have your perspective that I'm still learning to understand. It took me forever to fucking get TML's perspective, like even remotely, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot of fucking points. But like yours, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, man. So don't get suckered into any TOS kind of like debate arguments with an idiot in chat if you know you're in a hostile environment, because they're gonna smoke you out.
That's really good advice. Because
So how's your paranoia lately, Truth or Cop?
Hey, well, at the end of the day, it's your connection with Christ internally, and the guiding spirit, whatever you call it. Like, it doesn't have to be Christ, but like that's what I'm identifying it as. It's like there is a guiding spirit of life, and there's a guiding destructive force, and they both are constantly at battle within each of our lives.
So do you think that Donald Trump is the Antichrist?
Whether I think or whether I know, I don't know anything. What do I think? He could be. Anything is possible. I could think about anything. I could allow any thought into my mind. But my mind is subjected to God eternally. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, dude. How close are you to Christ right now, would you say?
He's my only fucking friend at times.
I mean, are you receiving from him right now?
It's like Paul says in the Bible, like, I want to do good, but all I do is bad and shit, or something. I think it was Paul. It's like, yeah, receive a fucking great, loving message internally, but the ability to externalize that is like a different process entirely that enters this conflict of like, what is this person thinking? What is this person thinking? And battling their fucking spirit constantly to subject them to Christ through me. Like, it's not me. So like, that gives me power, but like, not beyond what the fuck the individual chooses to accept, which is the case in all regards in life with the government and paying taxes on every fucking thing and pretending like you own property and paying taxes on throughout your life. I mean, like people subject themselves to Satan all the fucking time. It's like, at what point does Christ allow you to draw the line in your life? I don't know.
Did you disconnect from the whole world or just the Panelverse?
Yeah, the world entirely. I'm ready to fuck this world up, dude. I'm gonna fucking destroy this fucking place. I'm fucking done with every fucking thing about this world, dude. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. So, like, that we're like in a like skirmish or whatever you want to call it with Iran, and like how disconnected are you from like the media or whatever? Because like you said, you took 3 months or whatever.
Do I know that we're in a skirmish with Iran? Do you? You've been there? You've seen it? I don't know what the fuck is going on there. All I know is what the fuck I see in front of me every day, and not through the fucking phone. Anything I see through the phone is subject to high scrutiny.
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Like, much less a newspaper article. Like, it used to be like this world, like we were talking about earlier, like they used to be able to control the world headline through the newspaper, like Pearl Harbor attacked. All the Japanese fucking flew their planes into a suicide bombers. And now all of a sudden we have suicide bombers in Iran and blah, 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 over like decades and decades of programming. And what is really going on? I mean, Trump has said every fucking thing out of his mouth. Every fucking thing he said. The strait is opening. We're making peace. We're going to blow the shit out of them. We've destroyed everything they own. They have so many ships. Blah 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 blah. He says every fucking angle possible, conceivable, in the world stage, and the truth is only found within us. So like, truth or flop, unblock me. Fuck you, Fire Drake. You're not blocked, faggot.
Is he one of those that I was just talking about?
The Fire Drake's like he's been around a long time. He's one of the OGs somehow. I don't know why though. I don't know specifically where they came from, but they've been around a long time. And this guy, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but they've been making great points. I like that phrase when they're not quite ready to talk, but are fully aware. I'd like more information on that. GTG's been laying it out in the chat. Oh, my other one. What's your other one, Fire Drake? I'm sorry, but you have to say it in public. I'm not gonna I won't say it. But like, I do. As if I fucking have admin, I'm gonna pay. As if this fucking makes me money. Like I'm gonna go fucking unblock a motherfucker because they got blocked for talking shit. They may have a fucking alternative thing where they can just speak however they want. Like just speak however you want through the fucking thing. Don't why have all these fucking filters in front of you and why these technological devices? Why put them in front of you? Why obfuscate your communication to the people that God has inspired you to have? Like constantly. It's always in our fucking face, dude. Don't say this because of that. And you're talking about like these chats, dude. I'm sure it's happening. And like where you're speaking truth and there's these presences that don't allow it to happen. They want to like keep anyone in the jail cell, in the prison cell that are already in. So they control the chat to deny Christ, the truth of life itself. And I'm not saying that Christ is the name of it. However, that's how I identify it at this point in time, because there's clearly an operating force of good. There is operating forces of evil. They both operate in different fashions, and it's clearly evident in reality.
Hey, I just gotta say, truth or cop, like you never like, dude. I don't know how you get so many discombobulated like subjects all like mixed up in a row and then somehow pull it all together at the end, dude. That's pretty impressive. I gotta tell you, like the way your mind worked is like, I don't always get it, but when you always land the plane, though, that's the thing. Like you always land the plane pretty good.
Thank you.
I love you, man. You're fucking awesome.
Thank you, man. I love you too. Yeah, there's like, I don't know how the fuck, I don't know why I see shit the way I do, and we both have conflicts in communication with reality. I've seen you do it, and other people don't get you all the time. Obviously, like this fucking happens. It's like me too. Like it's like these forces come in and try to like change every fucking word, its meaning, its intention. They come in and like make you feel like you can't speak for yourself. And it's all the same operative force against the Most High God within you. Like when you stand in that, like they want to attack it. But also part of that is God limiting what you can say for a moment too. And in time, the truth will be revealed, and there's no amount of work you can do to like go out of your way to do extra that God isn't already doing with you. It's kind of how I see it. I don't, especially this fucking online bullshit. Because I came on this online bullshit like thinking I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna fucking help them see shit and this and that. And perhaps I did. I don't know. I have no fucking idea. We don't know what the fuck we do. God's in charge.
Bro, you're fucking deep as hell right now, dude. Are you on acid or something?
No, unfortunately, I'm not even on mushrooms.
Mm. Yeah, dude, you rock, dude.
And
You've
I
been
just
through
finished
it.
the
Like
last
you've
one I
been
got.
around the block, uh, like I said, it seems like maybe the reasoning or the how you got through the woods. I don't understand, but you always get there.
Dude, I don't either. But that's how we all are. I've been fucking deep in the fucking woods, motherfucker, time and 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 time again. Dude, it's fucked up. But God always shows me the way, and that's the only fucking reason I am even here, dude. Well, I am not here by my own means. People tell me I need to be there for myself and fucking this and that. I could not be here for myself. Like, there's no way. My ways are bullshit. But there is a force that flows within me that is beyond me, that guides me through my life constantly. Praise God, dude. In Jesus Christ's name and Yeshua HaMashiach's name, like, praise all the most divine beings in creation that fucking somehow got us here right now to have this conversation, because we
Dude,
couldn't have this conversation on our own.
are you doing a Jack impersonation or something?
No, I'm doing fucking
That
5
was almost
years.
Jack
Dude,
Taco, bro.
I've streamed most of this shit, dude. Like, for fucking 3 years, I streamed out here. I'm alone in the fucking woods, motherfucker. I'm by my motherfucking self. Everyone that comes into my life is with a fucking reason and a cause. And I go out of my way to try to meet new people. It don't work like that. So no matter what I try and what I think I need, God gives me what I actually need. And as painful as that fucking is, that's my reality. Truth or cot. Truth or cot.
Sweet.
All right, we got to close this fucking thing down, dude. We've had enough fucking discussion for the evening.
Thanks, bro.
DeFreak, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, blessings.
Or TMO, do you have
No,
any
thank you
questions?
very much.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no, I'm
brother.
good. I think I've said it all. It is what it is.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Now, before we get into tomorrow evening stream, we're going to get deeper into what we discussed tonight, because you've reminded me of like so many things that are like a duh that I need to be focused on. That, like, you put it in a different language, but then I want to put it in a different language, and then the people like have their own language, and like that's the fucking dilemma. Is because everyone can make their own choice, and the spirits interact with us as God sees it fit. Is all I can fucking see at this point. Do you have one more clip to play? Like, tomorrow night you're gonna get deeper into this, but like, do you have any other clips you want to like show about like what you're gonna get into tomorrow night? Oh, the Robert Escobar show, dude. What's up?
Yeah, I don't really have clips of tomorrow. Tomorrow it's just it's explanations, right? So first I do a solo presentation to contextualize the information that I offer throughout the stream from primary sources and text.
Hmm.
So yeah, so
all right,
lots of people, lots of people that have a pretty astute analysis on the situation, and they've read tons of works in a similar with a similar appreciation of the issues at play. So obviously we got a bunch of different ideas, right? So we definitely talk about the philosophy of history, technical complexity, right? And look at humanism. And obviously the whole idea of technical humanism in light of transhumanism and also post-humanism. So we're looking at tons of different ideas that as the Lewis says, liberalism, it it made way for its own executioner. Right. And so we're talking about how, how we're in a sort of post-liberal situation where something else is driving culture.
Well, it's like when you're saying liberalism, you're talking about the past. It seems to be like the Constitution is a liberal ideology in that regard. The way you're laying things out, and then like you have this futuristic idea, but there is like you're pointing out that there is little focus on the present in front of people. And all these ideas tear us into the past and into the future and propel us into the future with past ideologies that they've constructed. It's like the way your language is like, I'm almost able to say it in your language, but I can't quite.
Well, I appreciate it.
And so we got 18 minutes left here. Do you have any clips you want to play? One more clip for contextualization of this reality. Short one.
I don't really have clips on like the show really. I mean, if it comes to that, we could just play the show that I do.
Mm.
And
Well, that's at the Machine Live, and they can certainly do that.
Contextualize the issues. Yeah, maybe I can just do that.
Well, you're doing that over like a long-term thing, and like I'm sitting back and like, how do I do less work than that in everyone else, and like actually contextualize it into everyone's format, like where people are actually seeing it in the middle. But you're like really doing important work where you're just consistently at it 3 days a week, and you're the most consistent streamer, like talking about like actual fucking ideas that thinkers brought to our reality and pointing to it. So it's definitely the best place, as far as I know, like for anyone who's looking for more information to go, is the Machine Lies. To learn about the machine and the machine that lies. And to get the fuck out of this fucking phone. I gotta get out of this phone. I'm projecting onto everyone now. I gotta get out of this fucking phone. But I've subjected myself to more minutes of this.
But yeah, there's got to be a different thing than talking about pop philosophers, right? Pop scientists, right? And obviously, there's people who give political commentary, right? That are extremely controlled, right? There's people who do sort of manufactured drama, right? And obviously you can't tell what's scripted and what's real, right? It's worse than reality TV because you're not seeing who's actually involved, right, in the making of the show or the making of the chat or whatever is going on, right? So there's all of these stipulations when you try to engage in the material, and the time for sort of commenting and reacting to material right, and producing sort of low level, visual aesthetics and low effort, right, and then producing commentary that is of a totally of a nature that doesn't engage a bunch of multidisciplinary sources, because at this rate the experts are not really going to look at anything that's outside of their field, right? So basically, how do you look across the board, right? A bunch of people have to come together, right, and actually have conversations, right? So if it's possible, to do it off the show, right? So the greatest thing that we can do is go offline and talk about things that we're inspired here to talk about, right? And maybe do most of the talking offline.
Right, because the most important conversations don't happen online, but they can be inspired by people that we like, these talking heads. Like, God only knows what people are looking for when they're inspired by Flow State or Andrew Wilson or Sarah the Raging Tomato. I mean, like,
Yeah, the most conversations um that are fruitful and are happening outside of the watchful eye of the machine. And of course, if we could create our own language and exchange notes where the cameras cannot view us, that would be preferable. But until then, right, we have to basically connect with people who are unlikely uh patterns, right, that the system may not expect us to sort of extrapolate on. And we have to make connections that are not maybe visible or predictable, right, so on and so forth, right? It's like when you're being chased by automatic firing thing. You have to like run in a zigzag, so on and so forth.
the robot dogs.
Right. Yeah, run in a zigzag to avoid the robot dog machine gun.
There will be no coming together until Psalms 37 is performed. Endeavor to persevere. Do you mind dropping that? Because we are about to close out here in like 12 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's all
Mm.
it's all going to be fulfilled,
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh man. Well, we've done an excellent show tonight. We're stretching it out here for another like 11 minutes, I guess. And is there any other to me, like, because we are laying out the way you speak about actors and like this and that, the actors are like, they're not standing up for their own ideas. They're standing up for others' ideas and some group mentality rather than maintaining their independence with God Himself, creative force within them. And constantly, that's a fucking battle that we're engaged in. And we can define it in all sorts of ways. But to me, it ultimately comes down to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah, I'll
like,
drop like
mm,
some outro stuff for us.
oh, yeah. Yeah, we're closing out here in like 10 minutes. A little bit more, but not too much. Yeah. make sure you subscribe, hit the like and share and follow. Jump over to the Machine Lies channel tomorrow evening for his continuation of the excellent points he brings to the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm doing a
consciousness.
music show now, so
Awesome. Yeah, right after this, you guys can jump over there. I will not be able to redirect it. I'm sorry, just because I'm from my phone right now. But
yeah, it's all good.
if anyone wants to jump over there, it's at the Machine Lies, right? Or is this Cyber Caliphate?
It's at the Machine Lies 9534. It is what it is. So that's what it is.
Thank you, Little Wing, for being here.
Blessings.
And thank you to all the Freak for jumping up here and excellent commentary. Honestly, like that shit was like, I don't even think he knows what he said to me. But like, that shit is certainly happening. People operate in these groups, but I don't always. It goes beyond the physical communication too, and it does go into the spiritual attraction as well, and they both meet in some weird regard that I've yet to define. And perhaps there is no definition for me with that. It's perhaps ever changing, but like people can come together and try to work towards something, but God's going to operate through people individually together anyhow. And to the individual who's dependent on the system, they may not perceive that if they feel like they have to vote and all this shit to maintain their independence in a dependent system. Hypocrisy. It's like, you do you have a music video you want to play?
Oh yes, there.
All right, let's go.
Yo, crooked, corrupt, criminal crime boss with cream, cocaine hustler, blowing out the brains of busters. Be in my mansion, chilling, inhaling ganja smoke, counting mad cream, weighing tons of coke, guarded by thugs and rock rollers. I flood the streets with drugs and clock dollars. Niggas get plugged with my Glock collars. Skunk smoker, Philly and now ripper, Cristal sipper. I've been a Willie for a while, nigga. Drop got hoes, the man with all the nachos, expensive hot clothes, drop top rolls, East Coast, West Coast, fiends overdose. Gruff get the cream with my team and I'm ghost.
This money be tempting me to jump out the MPV. MP3 clips hollow tips with no sympathy. Since 14, I sold morphine for more green. Kept open in Nautica coat under the drawstring and watched out for cops. Squad cars and beamers and Largeninas. Flee the country to Argentina. Lay back in the beach chair coasting with commuters. Smoking the Buddhas on the cruise line boat to Aruba for a while, yo. Pump the valve so I can pal dough. Then become a Harlem Kingpin. Just like Alpo get paid so I can lay low in San Diego with Yayo and ship it out whenever I say so.
Yo, making this money's the American dream. East Coast to West Coast, you know what I mean? Whether it's uptown, downtown, you pick the scene. You got to get your own scheme. We ain't splitting this rain. Yo, I'ma run it statically till they bury me. Count numerically, Bill for Beverly. More bands than Cherokee. President like Eric B. and Rakim. Drug game on top 10. Locked in right now is not an option. And those who creek got the Mac in the heat. The guard with 5-inch screens in the back of the seat. And now they got this daddy bragging. Last year had me sagging. Wasn't ready for Terry with bagging. Tossed me in the paddy wagon. But ain't nobody out here stopping love. Cause we was 12 years old in the Cotton Club popping bug. So all the fame without the fortune, goddamn you wrong. Killing Kid Cameron, surviving in the Amazon.
I leave you days to froze with all kinds of amazing throat money surrounded. I counted while bathing with Asian hoes. Back home niggas is after me. I'm at the sea sipping daiquiris. Coke the factory fiend bagging a crack for me from. Cutting the rocks to investing in stocks. Nautica yachts and knots busting out of my socks. Now that blood paid and chubby. All the ladies love me. They hate who made me hubby. Behind my back they say my baby's ugly. Each night I sleep with frequent Lamborghini Jeeps. Neighbors be sneaking peeks. I have my scene at least between the sheets. Messed up my loot, I cut your collar, swan. The bees is modern charms. And the only thing I see is dollar signs.
Making this money's the American dream.
East Coast to West Coast, you know what I mean?
Whether it's uptown, downtown, you pick the scene.
You got to get your own green, we ain't splitting this green.
To be seen green in the mean beam is every teen's dream. Big L, supreme fiend with more green than Springsteen. You know I'm crazy, quick to smack a groupie. I'm known to Mac a hoochie. Do I got stacks of Lucci? Absolutely. Harlem kids is known for felonies and selling keys, pushing 300 C's, GS3s and puffing trees. These G's freeze while DTs be yelling freeze. We stash cheese and keep a pocket full of centuries. Ain't yo, I'm set for the rest of my life. Some clown that laid the threat cause I had sex with his wife. I stuck my tool in his brain, but I could fool and get slain. Nigga, yo, bitch chose me, you know the rules to the game.
Yo, making this money's the American dream. East Coast to West Coast, you know what I mean?
Whether it's uptown, downtown, you pick the scene.
You got to get your own scheme, we ain't splitting this green.
Yo, making this money's the American dream.
East Coast to West Coast, you know what I mean?
Whether it's uptown, downtown, you pick the scene.
You got to get your own scheme, we ain't splitting this green.
Yeah, what? Harlem on the rise. Bloodshed, killer kid, 6 figures, COC, Chuck Lassie, my man, Mace, Bad Boy, Uptown, McGruff, Big L, 139, NFL, 140, Uptown, nigga.
Education.
All right. This has been Truth or Cop getting caught up on what the fuck is happening in the Panelverse with The Machine Lies, live tomorrow and right after this show. And 3 days a week, like all the time. TML, any closing remarks before we close out of here?
Yeah, we're live on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, we'll be talking about a bunch of issues, namely different views of thinkers. Right, like for example, Jacques Ellul, who talks about the technological society, Mumford, who talks about man as a symbol making animal. And Rene Guénon, who talks about man and his relationship to modernity and the crisis of the modern world. And yeah, so that's among the few things that we're going to be discussing. But yeah, blessings to all the people that are watching this, and yeah, thank you for supporting Truth or Cop and The Machine Lives. Blessings.
And blessings to you, brother, for coming on here and having this conversation with me, bringing me out to like help me focus on what the fuck, because we've seen each other long enough to know that we have like similar goals in many fashions, like, and there's a lot of fucking objections out here about a lot of fucking shit. When you start to speak some shit like the truth on any regard, like you're gonna get fucking attacked. And we entered this space in nearly the same time, and like, and what the freak was laying out, like that's not foreign to me at all. Like there are chat participants that do such things for sure. However, like in my experience, it's like that's all to distract from the message of the show itself, which you of all people have not departed from very well, and it's very impressive. We got 1 minute here. We're gonna close out real quick. Thank you for joining me. Blessings, brother. And we're gonna close out here. Go
Peace.
for it, man. You got 45 seconds. Peace. Yes, peace. Jack Talcott wants world peace and no wars. Who doesn't really? At the end of the day, I mean, if you kind of disagree with that, there probably is something going on with you. So I get why Talcott's in so many arguments with so many people all the time. However, well, that's a future conversation. for Talcott and I when he's here. I'm being asked to unblock someone. I don't know their alternative account, and I'm getting out of here. These are not my issues from this point forward. In 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Be well, y'all.